Okay, so I'm doing a short video. I'm basically showing what I did yesterday. Trying to tie up as best as I could the rack and pinion at a proper height. I used whatever means available. Piece of rope on one side, a couple of tie wraps, whatever, because when I'm going to remove the bolts from the rack and pinion, I want them to stay as level as possible to where they are, so I don't have a hard time refitting the bolts to the place where I need to put them back in. Hopefully I'm going to get some help for refitting this all together. Right now I'm all by my lonesome, and I'm going to have a little bit of help a little bit later on from my friend Trevor, that's going to show up with a set of torches to undo the main cross member so I can lower this whole nonsense. Now, I've taken about 45 minutes to undo these two bolts to the cooling system of the oil for the transmission. It took a little bit of heating. They were a little bit stubborn. I had to cuss in French to actually get this thing to be I was looking for the filler plug. The filler plug is right there. That's where it's at. I was contemplating showing myself a video with the clips that I need to undo. I'm gonna need to go a little bit farther, somewhere in there. Release those pins right there from the, release those pins for the linkage. Move this wiring over. And I don't know if we can see properly, but there's a couple of clips holding the slave cylinder line in its place. I'm gonna need to remove that. There's a couple more clips that are on the shift linkage that I'm going to need to undo. Hopefully I can undo them while I'm actually lowering this whole mess, to actually be able to have a little bit better time to get the wires out. Now, I set myself up a block and a chain with 3 inches to actually go down. 3 inches should be enough. If it's not enough, I'll just jack her back up, but I borrowed a nice jack. I've got a couple of fuse box undone, the relay box undone. I've got the air filter removed. I have the starter removed. Most of everything that you see here is all straight design clips on a couple of different things. If I don't need to remove it, I will not. I'm trying to leave the harness and as many hoses as possible all into the right place. There is the one engine mount here that I need to undo. There is the one engine mount that is under here that I need to undo. The alternator I don't really need to remove. I'm not touching this side of the engine at all, even if I'd like to move the AC compressor out of the way. I'm going to leave it as is, going back under the car. This is the 17 mil bolt to the one support. The two 14s that are under here. Actually, their 13s are already undone. I've undone the 217s down here, the 217s back there, holding this support arm, and I've removed the front bolt from the support arm that I've generously coated with anti-seize. All the bolts I'm gonna put back in. This is the main 19mm bolt that was giving me trouble yesterday. Hopefully I can release those two with a set of good torches around noonish. And here is the shift linkage that I was talking about earlier that I need to release the clips and move out of the way. And then the two retaining clips that are holding that to the engine bracket. By releasing all of that, everything else was done yesterday. CV joints removal, the main rear axle removal, the CV joints from the other side, the bolts from under here to be able to move all that stuff out of the way. That's all fairly simple stuff. The main is going to be the bolts from holding the transaxle to the engine once I've removed these two cross members. And right now the only thing that's retaining that cross member is the two already loosened bolts at the front and those two stubborn 19mm that need to be heated up at the sleeve so we can unjam the bastards, because they're, well, excuse my English, they're pretty tough in there. So next step is, we can actually see here, got a good little engine jack. Some lube and everything else. So now, I guess we can get back to business.